fire is good, but it's also going to do harm today. We honor those plants and thank them for their sacrifice. Today we're having these two are going to light the fire in the traditional way. That gives the fire power. Here in California, we live in a climate where fire is an important part of that ecosystem. And the indigenous people figured that out after living here for thousands of years. And so they came up with a way of living with fire and being in good relationship to fire. Fire's alive, and you give thanks to it before you bring it back to life again. And then you feed it while it's alive. You feed it and take care of it. That's kind of the relationship a lot of people don't have anymore.
Understanding those details of the ways in which fire was used for thousands of years helps us better understand what that relationship with fire can look like and what that relationship with the land can look like. We have landscapes that require that tending by people to thrive. Our forests and woodlands in California are not meant to have an infinite number of trees per acre. They're really evolved to have large, long-lived trees that have space between them. And that space creates resilience. It allows more water. It prevents pathogen spread by keeping distance between trees. It allows more sunlight to the forest floor, which allows more diversity in the understory plants.
One of the ways you can tell if the burn has been a good burn is by just doing this. You got little sprouts coming up already. So you could just wipe away the black and then it's soil again. If it was one of those big bad fires, the burn goes a lot deeper than just the top layer. That's what's known as a good fire. For a long time we were trying to get the people who were in control to listen to us about keeping fire on the land, and we didn't have a lot of success. And it was even illegal, and Indians would get put in jail or something for starting a fire. Their method of taking care of the land was fire suppression. What has really changed is the catastrophic fires that we have.
Wildfires are only getting more devastating, larger, more frequent, so the situation is dire.
Let's go down. I'll help you find a hydrant. I'll go find it. Yeah, all right. Let's go.
Here, I'm gonna start pushing across. A2, I believe.
We're recognizing that the forest is going to burn, and we want it to burn under conditions that are more controlled and safer. In order for prescribed fire to act as a tool to prevent or reduce the spread of fire, would require a tremendous amount of cooperation and burning on a large scale. And there's a whole lot of liability when you start putting fire on the ground. If you're not prepared to control it and you don't have the resources and the ability to control it, it can get away from you. You're at the whim of the weather in order to have a successful prescribed fire. It's got to be just right.
I grew up here on bodega pastures since I was a little kid, and it would be heartbreaking to see the whole forest get roasted because we're not doing our part as stewards of the land here. It's not really like if it's gonna burn, it's like when is it gonna burn and how prepared are we gonna be when it does decide to burn. There was definitely a lot that we had to do in order to make people comfortable with the idea of doing a prescribed burn. Basically, the lack of education that we have about fire, or the misinformation that we've received, has really skewed people's perception of like what fire even is and how fire behaves.
Today we did a site visit and we were looking to see if we could use prescribed fire to steward this landscape. small, low-intensity burning is, I think, a good way to get people reacquainted with fire.
I'm excited that this is all connecting now.
That's great. It's super exciting. You'd have a number of potential burn windows here. In the fall, before or after the first rain is doable. Probably you could do this also toward the end of May, as long as you're not in red flag. Really good opportunity here. We've had 2 prescribed burns now where a red flag raging wildfire burns right up to that controlled burn, and then either completely doesn't burn the area that we burned in the controlled burn, or just has little 6-inch flame lengths. If we have enough of that across the landscape, we can change the way a fire is burning, even in a red flag condition.
I think this year there were more prescribed burns here in Sonoma County than ever before. That's just step one. You got to come back, and next year, or even 6 months later, come back and burn again.